Welcome to Current Chatter, the place where we dive into the latest news and happenings going on around the world. Join mother and son duo Kota and Losa as they engage in lively debates over current affairs and anything else that sparks a discussion. With diverse perspectives and a bit of fun, you never know what topics will come up next. Tune in every Friday afternoon for your weekly dose of Current Chatter.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Current Chatter. I'm here with Mama. And
Hello.
I have had a pretty rough week. Last week I was telling you guys that I was feeling under the weather, and I have since been sick for a total of 9 days now, because it's Friday.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And it's been the worst. I had a virtual doctor's appointment Tuesday, and my doctor said I either have walking pneumonia or bronchitis, but it's hard to tell over the phone, so she told me that I need to go to urgent care if it doesn't start to clear up.
Oh, so when are you going to go to urgent care? Because it's not clearing up, is it?
Yeah, I'll probably either go later tonight or Saturday morning if they're open. It just depends. Rin's looking into urgent cares that take my insurance because you know how that shit all plays out.
Being an adult sucks sometimes.
I know. But I've never had anything like just completely kick my ass like this has. Mama, I don't know if you noticed, but I got rid of my beard.
Yep, I did notice that. What happened there? Short beard now.
So short. I've got the goatee going on. At one point, Rin was like, I really liked you with your goatee. And in my head, I had just heard that Rin wanted me to get rid of my beard. But in all actuality, I was like coughing and sneezing. And anytime I coughed and sneezed, I would like raise my hand up to cover my mouth. And I would catch my beard and like use my beard to help cover my cough and my sneeze. So I was getting like mucus and shit all inside my beard. Yeah, it was gnarly. And I've been like getting these awful nosebleeds, and it sucks to get blood out of your mustache. I'd had enough of it, so I shaved it all off.
Well, are you still working all week, or did you take some days off?
So I've been to work all week except one day. But for some reason, mornings are just hard as shit for me. Mornings are the worst. And by the time like my cold meds kick in and my cough medicine kicks in, I'm good to go. Oh, a weird thing. I have like mucus coming out of my tear ducts. So I woke up Sunday and I thought I had pink eye because I couldn't open them because of the fucking mucus.
Right. They were just crusty.
My doctor was like, no, that's normal. And I was like, how the fuck is this normal? I've never had this happen to me before at all.
Right? And what the hell?
So it's been a week for me.
Yeah. I have just been interviewing like crazy and applying like crazy to jobs. I'd almost rather be sick than have to apply for jobs and do interviews. I'm over the interview process, but gotta keep moving forward.
Right. What do you find hardest about do you see, now that you've done so many interviews, are they kind of all the same? You're starting to get like bored of them?
I'm not bored of them. I was telling your dad last night, I'm like, I am the one common denominator in all of this, and I can't find a job. And so what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
And because that's where you go, you just go down that dark hole of, what am I going to do with me? It's all good. I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be. I have a feeling. So just depends on where that is.
Yeah. I think you just need to be patient. Something will come along.
I did get a chance to watch that really great Hulu series, The Devil Inside, the Ruby Franke story.
Yeah, Mom told me to check that out. What caught your eye about that in the first place?
I don't know. It just was something that looked interesting, and I watched a couple of things on it and read a couple of things behind the story. I just wanted to check and see what it was all about. But you watched it too, correct? You're all finished with it now?
Yeah, we finished it in one night. We sat up, I think it was Tuesday night, and finished it all because I was like, I have to fucking watch this. Because we started it, and it starts going in one direction, and then a possession comes in, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, it just took so many turns that I wasn't expecting.
I know, it's like almost unreal the way they made it look.
Right? And I thought I knew what the Ruby Franke thing was, but I had no fucking clue at all.
I had no idea who or what she was until I saw that. So last week we did Netflix. We advertised for Netflix, and this week we're advertising for Hulu because it's a Hulu exclusive.
It was really, really good.
That took such a sharp turn so quickly. Like, she's all being normal and stuff, and then out of the blue, sorry, spoiler alert, she does that crazy shit, and it's just horrible.
Well, and you have to keep in mind too, when it was actively happening, we were only seeing what she put on YouTube, right? So what we were seeing is that she was doing really well, and then all of a sudden took a turn. But during the series, it kind of talked about how she slowly started to take that turn and flop over into this crazy theory that her kids were possessed by devils, that her husband was only there to seduce her with lust and wanted nothing more than sex, which I thought was weird because my whole thing with the father in there was that he just was like, and he even said it in the first episode. He said, I found this chart in Ruby's room of what she was looking for in a man, and
Oh,
he
that
based
upset your dad too.
he based himself and how he like courted Ruby into what she had on this chart. So he had already like turned himself into this version of what Ruby wanted, and he just was a broken man. He thought he had ambition, he thought he had all his drive and stuff, but he just was so what's the phrase I'm looking for? The power of the pussy had him so fucked up.
All right. I don't know if it was that, but I can see where you would come to that conclusion. And she just wanted, like, the 6 kids. I understand wanting to have a lot of kids, but oh, come on. Like, the thing that I really liked about it was that they only did the stuff that they could prove on with video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also in the documentary on Hulu, they showed a lot of um, deleted things, so things that she had edited out of her videos. So you were seeing a lot of the times, like, one of their sons, his name was Chad, right? That was the oldest son's name.
Hmm.
So Chad had a really hard time when he was getting older, like being on camera. He just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go be a fucking kid. And at one point, there's a part where she's telling him, sometimes you have to act happy. Just put on a happy face. And he's like, well, I don't know if I can do that right now. And I'm positive you don't ever see that in her videos, but we got to catch that because she'd edited it out. You know what I mean? So there are just some things that you got to see that you wouldn't have seen if you just followed her on YouTube. And I think her YouTube channel was 8 Passengers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's down now. None of her stuff is up anymore. I tried to look for it to see if there was any of her videos or anything. I couldn't see anything online, but um,
I'm pretty sure YouTube probably took it down.
what did you think of the dad?
Well, Tristan, he knew a lot more about this than I did, and he was like, I think the dad has more to do with this than he's let on. I think the dad was part of all this. And like watching it, I don't know if it was just because of the documentary itself, but I like I said, I think the dad was just a broke human being that fell in love with someone who was able to manipulate him to the fullest.
Oh, wow, yeah. He was very, like, I don't know a person, Dakota, and again, it's another spoiler alert. He spent a whole year away from his family because she said so.
Yeah.
Just because she said so.
It wasn't even her, it was her therapist too. She got all super into her therapist and was like,
Oh, like an unhealthy relationship with her therapist.
like her therapist was living at her house,
Mm.
unhealthy. And like the therapist like showed signs of possession, like demonic possession, and totally like wrapped this family's finger around the demonic possession. And at one point, Ruby's therapist had said, I wouldn't have these demonic possessions if your husband and oldest son weren't in the house, because your husband is just a lustful creature and your oldest son watches porn. Which, spoiler alert, everyone watches fucking porn. It's not the fucking end of the fucking world to watch some porno.
It is if you're a very, very, very religious person. You know what I mean?
We should clarify that she was a Mormon based in, I think they were in, was it Santa Quinn? Or
No, in Springville,
Springville.
which is down there by Santa Quinn, yeah.
So, one thing that I should mention is I was active in the Mormon church as a child, and by the time I thought I was ready to get baptized, my parents told me that I have to wait a year, and after a year, if I still wanted to be baptized, I could get baptized. I think within 2 weeks, I'd forgotten about being baptized, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So I never was baptized in the Mormon church. I definitely grew up around that atmosphere, but I was not a practicing Mormon. Mom, you were baptized, right, in the Mormon religion?
I was. I have since left Mormon religion.
So this point of view, like the whole Mormon, like I don't even know if the Mormonism played a big part in the series. I guess it did. They did talk about Like, she did talk about how she was connected to God and whatnot. I just want to clarify for everyone that not everyone from Utah is centered around the Mormon religion.
And it didn't have a lot to do with religion. You would think it would because she was like, oh, my kids are possessed by the devil. But it didn't have anything to do with religion. It had to do with the craziness, like just going down a rabbit hole of, it's like she just wanted so desperately to be seen by so many people. She wanted to be everybody's mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't play that game.
And she wanted to be the best mother. And then she had a video that came out where her oldest son was 17 and he was having teen angst, so he was being a shithead like most fucking teenagers are.
Teenagers do, yeah.
Yeah, and he was acting out, and his acting out wasn't nearly as bad as my acting out. You know, like, it was pretty tame compared to the shit that he just would talk back to her. You know, and I was smoking pot in the room that you currently are sitting in. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a difference between him and I, but she took that as, like, the biggest fucking slap in the face.
Right? She thought he was possessed by the devil because of the way he was acting.
Yeah, so at one point, they took away his room and made him sleep on a beanbag for, what, 6 months, 9 months?
6, 7 months, yeah.
Yeah, and they had uploaded a video on YouTube saying how Chad had just got his room back and he'd been sleeping on a beanbag. And that's when everybody came out of the woodworks and was like, this mom is horrible. There's no reason you should treat your kids like this. I can't believe
And she was being a good mom at that point. Like, she was being, up until that video, she was like, no, I'm a good mom. And yes, she did. They were disciplinarians, but me and your dad were disciplinarians when you were young.
So she, like, took away all of these things, and then he, like, slowly had to work for it back. That was the spark to the fire, was people on the internet finding out that she had taken her kid's room away, his bed away, he was sleeping on a beanbag in the basement. And people just thought that that was the utmost disrespectful thing ever, you know.
I know, like, a child would never recover from that.
Yeah.
And see, I see two different things from here. One, I can see it from the kid's point of view where, okay, he probably didn't deserve to have to sleep on a beanbag in a basement for 7 months, but kids need discipline at the same time.
Yeah. And see, when I was at my utmost angsty as a teenager, I think the worst thing that you and Dad ever did was take away my door. I was still allowed to hang a sheet over my room so that, like, if I showered, I could have my privacy to get dressed and whatnot. But I didn't have a door for, what, like 3 months? But that's because I had lost the privilege to having a closed room because I was smoking marijuana in your house. That was the issue. The whole issue wasn't that I was smoking pot. It was that I was smoking pot in your house and I wasn't being upfront about it, correct?
Right? Yep.
Yeah.
It's a little bit that you were smoking pot. That was a little bit of a shock to your dad and I at the time. We've come a long way in the last 20 years.
But anyways, it was just it was a shock to watch how people reacted to this and how I really think that last video is when she super started to spiral, when she went, like, completely off the deep end.
Well, yeah, like I said, spoiler alert, I just don't understand how a father can just walk away like that. I really don't.
Well, he was brainwashed into thinking that's what he needed to do. That's it. Like, we don't know the conversation that Ruby and the husband had up until that point. I can't ever see myself walking out of a kid's life. I don't have any children, but I couldn't see myself walking out like he did. But she may have made it sound like that was the only option he had. And he was so pussy whipped that that's the only option that he saw that he really had. You know what I mean? I just, like,
yeah.
He was such a broken down man.
It says here online that they were bringing in over $100,000 a month on her YouTube family for being what she believed to be an instrument of God. I think he wanted to be manipulated.
No, I don't think that at all. I think he was naive. I think he didn't have the street smarts to see that he was being manipulated. I think he wanted to believe everything Ruby was doing was for the good of the family, was to, like, make sure they got into, what do the Mormons call it, Zion?
Yeah, I don't know, honey.
I think that's
a tough one for me.
I truly think that dad he just thought he was doing what Ruby had asked him to. So at her two oldest, she has 6 kids. Her two oldest, one was in college, and her oldest son, Chad, she had kicked out of the house by word of her therapist. I think her name was Jody?
Jody Hildebrand.
Jody Hildebrand. So Jody had said that Chad and the dad need to leave the house because they're adding to my demonic possession. And so the oldest are out of the house. Her oldest daughter, which kudos to her oldest daughter, because the oldest, I don't know if you caught it, but her oldest daughter never referred to her biological parents as mom and dad. She always referred to them as
Ruby and Kevin.
But I think the oldest daughter, like, she was completely blindsided. She just got a call one day, or a text. It was just a text message from Ruby saying, you don't want to be a part of this family. You aren't showing any initiative to keep this family together. You are kicked out.
I just don't understand how a parent can do that. I'm sorry. There's just no excuse for that kind of behavior.
No.
If you're a parent, you love that baby.
Mm-hmm. To the end of the earth.
Yep.
Not quite love them to where you're Brian Laundrie's mom and helping him hide a body, you know. There's a fine line you can't cross, you know.
Right.
And so it was just 4 of the other kids.
The 4 youngest, yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was 2 middle girls, and then the 2 youngest children was a boy and a girl. And there's a video of a young boy going up to a Ring doorbell, which I can't imagine what was going on between this child's head. He was probably 12 or 13, and he's walking up to some stranger's doorbell, ringing it, and then you see him start to walk away, and you hear the door open, and an older man comes out and asks the boy what he needs, and he's like, can I ask you 2 favors? And the boy asks, hey, can I have you call the nearest police station? Then you get the 911 call of the older gentleman calling the police, and the older gentleman is breaking down crying. Because, and the video's really grainy, and you can tell the boy is skinny, but I'm sure seeing this child up close is completely different to what we saw in the video. He said this boy is extremely emaciated. He's got duct tape around his ankles and his hands, and he's just asking for the police to get here. Ruby had thought that he was under demonic possession because he was acting out. He was a child. He was being a child.
Just being a kid. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. And then they found the youngest daughter.
Mm-hmm. And she was just like curled up, her legs pressed up against her, and she was like the littlest ball possible. She was trying to take up as less room as possible. She had her head shaved. She looked like a little boy. That's what the police said. And the police officer just was like, this child is emaciated. This child hasn't had a good meal. Like, I think, didn't they say they were covered in feces and like they just were not taken care of? It was like,
yeah, they just weren't. Yeah, it was awful. And they found cayenne pepper in the wounds.
Mm-hmm. Cayenne pepper and like honey paste. So what they were doing is they were like tying up the children with rope, and from the rope burns they were putting cayenne pepper and honey to try and like, it was like a home remedy to help with the burning, which I don't know how cayenne pepper helps with fucking anything. It doesn't even taste that fucking good.
It was just sad. The whole thing was sad. And then luckily they found the kids, and they were able to, from what I read online, they're still in foster care. They haven't been returned to Kevin, the father.
Oh, they haven't been returned to the dad yet?
That's what I could be 100% wrong on that. That's just what I read on one of the websites when I researched the issue.
Yeah, and see, like, so Ruby found out that her youngest son had gone to the police and had called Kevin and said, hey, you need to go pick up 2 of your children from the police station. According to this documentary, that's all that Ruby told Kevin. And Kevin was just so excited because his wife had not talked to him in a year. He hadn't seen his kids in a year. He didn't know the full aspect of what was happening, so he just ran over to the police station that his kids were at and went and picked up his kids. And the police are telling him the state that they found these kids in, and Kevin was baffled. There's no way that you can fake that kind of shock and surprise that Kevin had. And I think he was just in such shock that he didn't understand what he was really getting into, you know?
Right. I just felt, it was horrible. You know, and that he says that they're getting a divorce. He's divorcing Ruby, but he still loves her. And I'm like, that's not healthy because it's not good for the kids. It's not good. And he's like, but you can't turn off. And he made a really good point in that you can't turn off all the good times they had just because of the one hugely horrible thing she did.
Yeah, and see, like, I'm going through a divorce myself, and I 100% still have love for my ex, but we grew apart, and we're just two different adults than we were when we got married. When we were young adults, we thought we knew the whole world, and now that I can actually say I feel like an actual adult, we're just in two different places. I hold nothing against my ex-wife, but I have to have these boundaries, and I don't know if he's realized, I don't know if he knows what a boundary is.
Evan? Yeah, no. Yeah. Well, that was an interesting takeaway for the week.
I do have a crazy story for you if you got time to hear it.
Of course, I always have time for a good crazy story.
Okay, so the headliner says Pokemon-shaped Cheeto. So the Pokemon shape is in Charizard, and they called it Cheetozar. Sells in auction for $87,840.
A Cheeto.
A Cheeto that is in the shape of Charizard, a hot Cheeto. Are you looking at it?
Yeah.
I can hear you click-clacking away.
Hot Cheeto. Spelled Cheeto. C-H-E.
Charlie Hotel Echo Echo Tango Oscar.
Okay. Hot Cheeto. What is it? Pokemon?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It looks like a lizard of some kind. Are you looking at it?
Yeah. So it's in the shape of the Charizard. And someone just happened to find this and they put it in auction and it sold for $87,000.
It's wild.
Right.
So in case anybody was wondering, here is what I found on what Kota was just talking about. Flaming hot Cheeto, and it bears an uncanny resemblance to Charizard, an orange dragon-like creature that is one of Pokemon's Universal's original most beloved characters.
It's Charizard.
Charizard.
There you go.
And they renamed it. They renamed the Cheeto to Cheetozar.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
It's over.
People have way too much. Yeah, 70. On Sunday, the dragon-shaped snack sold at auction for $72,000.
Oh, I read somewhere it was $87,000.
Yeah, 72 plus fees that pushed the price to nearly $90,000 amid the bidding frenzy. They say that online. It's a bidding frenzy.
Fuck yeah.
I doubt it was a bidding frenzy.
I would try to put money in for that. It looks just like Charizard. Like, here, go look up a video or just a picture of Charizard and compare the two. It looks just like Charizard. I was surprised.
All right, so let me look up Charizard now. Okay, yeah, you're right. It does. I wouldn't pay $87,000 for it though.
I would have a hard time not eating it. To be the first man in the world to eat Charizard.
I've had things where I'm eating something and I'm like, ooh, this looks like Ben Franklin, and then I'll eat it anyway because I'm like, I don't want to play that game.
Wasn't there a piece of toast that had like Jesus on his face, burnt into it? Of course. Well, what do you think we'll come back with next week?
I don't know. There's some good stuff. Like, started yesterday, and that is the 40 days prior to Easter. It's a Catholic, so they do Mardi Gras until Tuesday, and then Tuesday at midnight they stop all the bad stuff, and then they give up something for Lent for 40 days. Then it is Holy Week, and then it's Easter. So yeah, there's some stuff going on and some fun stuff out there.
Are you going to give anything up for the next 40 days?
Oh no. I gave up a job. How's that sound?
I don't know if that counts, Mom. And you didn't give that up. You had that taken away from you.
It's true.
You were laid off.
What was the very worst thing that in March of every year you guys laughed at me?
We just laughed at you.
It's daylight savings time.
Oh yeah, I hate that now as an adult. I
See,
hate it so
you didn't
much.
hate it as a kid. Hate it as an adult.
Yeah, it's so much worse as an adult. When is that?
It's this Saturday, Kota. Be prepared. You got to turn off your clocks. You got to do your clocks on Saturday night.
When are we going to come together and get rid of that?
I don't know. The president was asked about it today, and he said that it was a 50-50 issue, meaning that it was 50-50 on whether people wanted it or not. And so he wasn't, jumping in line to try to get it taken care of.
According to him, it was a 50-50 issue.
Mm-hmm.
According to the Fox News report he pulled out.
Uh-huh. I ain't gonna lie. I watch me some Fox News. Cool. So we're good?
Yeah, we're good.
We do have an Instagram. We have a Facebook page. So make sure that you go and you like all that. And then We're going to start a Patreon probably next month, and
Yeah.
we'll be all good to go, and people will be able to find us.
And I'm trying to figure out a way to put us on YouTube. It will not be video recordings of us because we have a face for radio, and I'm going to keep it that way.
Well, we'll figure it all out, but until then, we'll say goodbye for this Friday afternoon. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for all the love and support you've shown me and Mama. Please remember to like, share, follow, maybe tell your uncle and your auntie about the podcast. Mama and I are having a great time doing this, and we want to continue to do this, so please help us out. And remember, drink your water and talk to your therapist. Okay, bye-bye! Hell yeah, I suck toes.